the U.S. has finally given the green signal for a potential sale of F-35s to Riyadh. This deal had long been delayed by Washington due to Israel's security concerns and the sensitivity of advanced technology. Now, shifting geopolitics, rising tensions with Iran, Red Sea security threats, and the growing role of drone warfare are bringing the deal back into serious discussion. So, the big question is, what would the Saudi F-35 actually look like, and how capable would it be? Why does Saudi Arabia need it? Would Saudi F-35s be comparable to the Israeli F-35s currently in service, or would they end up as expensive showpieces meant more to keep Saudi Arabia satisfied than fully empowered? Saudi Arabia's ambition to acquire the F-35 is not new. Its interest goes back many years. After prolonged delays and political hesitation, the deal now appears to be receiving a tentative green light. Current discussions suggest Saudi Arabia could acquire up to 48 F-35s, potentially costing tens of billions of dollars, depending on weapons, training, and long-term support packages. So why is the kingdom pushing so hard for this jet? Two words: Iran and the Houthis. Right now, the Royal Saudi Air Force relies mainly on F-15s and Eurofighter Typhoons. These are highly capable fourth-generation fighters, excellent in dogfights and strike missions, but they are easily detectable on radar. Saudi Arabia's nightmare scenario is a swarm of Iranian suicide drones or cruise missiles targeting oil fields, attacks that are hard to stop with conventional jets. The F-35 isn't just a fighter, it's a flying supercomputer. It can coordinate air defenses, spot low-flying drones, and penetrate Iranian airspace without triggering S-300 or S-400 missile batteries. For Riyadh, this isn't about dogfighting, it's about survival and deterrence. This is where the story gets more complex. The U.S. Congress has a legal obligation to maintain Israel's Qualitative Military Edge, QME. In simple terms, Washington cannot sell an Arab nation a weapon system that would create a level playing field with Israel. Because of this, any Saudi F-35 sale would most likely involve the export standard version of the jet rather than the most advanced configuration. That comes with several limitations. First, Saudi Arabia would not get access to the aircraft's source code, meaning they wouldn't be able to modify or customize the software. Second, external or indigenous modifications would be restricted. The aircraft would have to operate exactly as delivered by Lockheed Martin. Third, weapons integration would also be controlled. It is highly unlikely Saudi Arabia would receive next-generation missiles like the AIM-260. Instead, they would most likely operate with existing AMRAAM variants. Some advanced missiles and upgrades may also be withheld, ensuring continued technological dependence on Washington. Now compare this to Israel's F-35, Adir. Israel is the only country permitted to extensively customize the F-35's internal systems. They have integrated their own electronic warfare suites, installed indigenous encrypted communications, and developed a plug-and-play capability that allows the aircraft to carry and deploy Israeli weapons, such as the Python 5 missile. If a Saudi F-35 and an Israeli F-35 ever met in the sky, the Israeli pilot would likely detect the Saudi jet long before the Saudi pilot even realized someone was there. That is why the Israeli defense establishment, while publicly expressing concern, is privately more comfortable with the deal. They understand that the Adir would still remain the apex predator. If the deal finalized soon, deliveries would likely take 5 to 7 years, with full operational capability expected in the early to mid-2000s and 30s due to training, infrastructure, and integration requirements. By the time these jets actually touch down in Riyadh, the world may already be transitioning towards sixth-generation fighters. If Saudi Arabia acquires the F-35, the floodgates could open. The UAE has been seeking the jet for years, and Qatar has shown interest as well. However, the strongest reaction would likely come from Tehran. Iran is already attempting to modernize its air force with Russian Su-35s. The arrival of stealth fighters in Saudi Arabia would push Iran to further invest in ballistic missiles and cheaper, mass-produced drones designed to saturate Saudi air defenses. Instead of de-escalation, this points toward the beginning of a high-tech regional arms race. So, the F-35 deal would not be a complete waste of money for Saudi Arabia. Even a downgraded F-35 would remain extremely stealthy against most regional radar systems. However, it may not be a true game-changer capable of making Saudi Arabia the dominant air power in the region by the time it actually receives the jets. Nor would it bring parity with Israel. More importantly, such a deal would tie the kingdom's security to the United States for the next 40 years.